Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content channel as of late. Hopefully I'm looking directly at camera. I hope I am. But we are here with another video, and for this video we're going to be doing something a little bit different, kind of similar to how we do the box office reports, but the reason why I'm doing it this way is because I prefer to just kind of do this all in one whack rather than having to do like a ton of editing on this. Because I don't. It'd be like a lot to try to manage and figure out all at once. So just better just to put it all in one little slideshow presentation. And as the first slide suggests, we are going to be talking about the box office for this summer, potentially, how things are going to transpire, how things are going to just unfold. And yeah, I think right now is an interesting time to talk about it because um, it's going to be a very interesting period of time given just what's happening outside of film, politically speaking. We talked about, what's going on with China, their reductions in film, and just the higher tariff rates that are going on right now, and how that may or may not affect a lot of these films. So yeah, so we're going to discuss just uh, what's coming out and giving you my thoughts on what I think is going to do well, what I believe is not going to do too well, and those gray areas in between where I could see it going either way. Um, but but yeah, I am going with the assumption here that they will be released in China. So that's just my assumption with these predictions. Um, Other than that, um, this is just a genuine view of how I think these movies are going to do, regardless if they get to that market or not. You know, I think that it definitely will help in some cases for some of these films to access that market, but I think a general feeling of each each of my feelings on these films is just just genuinely coming from just general interest for these movies. So yeah, so let's get into it. So the first thing that we're going to discuss is the films that I feel are going to do well. So we're going to start on a positive note here. So here are the films that I feel are going to do well. So these are all the ones that I believe are going to do financially well. So um, first on the list, Final Destination Bloodlines. Uh, I believe this will do fine just because I feel this is going to be low budgeted. I'm not vetted on how much they spend on Final Destination, but I have a feeling it's probably cheap. Um, notable name franchise. I mean, it's not like up there with like a lot of horror franchises, but it's still a relevant name. And given what's probably going to be for production, I think it has better chances to do well, and I think that it's not going to need too much to turn a profit. So those are my feelings on that. Next up, Lilo and Stitch. Truly believe this is going to be the first big success of the summer season. I mean, Final Destination, I think, is going to do fine because if it's just lower cost and what I think is going to be just generally as an investment. But in terms of a overall success story, like in terms of how much money is generated, I think Lilo and Stitch is going to be the first major hit of the summer. And it's already been tracking to do at least 100 million on its opening weekend. So yeah, so it's already being set up for potentially a big opening, and I have a feeling the costs are not too steep. Probably like at least 100 million. I don't like see it to be that big, but maybe I'll be wrong. Um, but I could definitely see a moderate production cost like 100, 120, and I think it's going to do just fine. I really do. I think that there's a lot of attention that's going to be put towards this film, especially towards the kids, and uh, reception definitely plays into it as well. But I think that general just interest, I think, is going to outweigh that of general quality. Kind of similar to that of the Minecraft situation. So yeah, so I think that's going to do pretty well for Disney. Next up, 28 years later, similar to my rationale with Final Destination, where I think that this is going to be a low cost type deal, and with that, I feel that it's not going to it's not going to have need to do too much to turn a profit. So that's my rationale with that. Also, familiar name, familiar, series. So so I think that it's going to put. I think it's positioning itself to do well. You just have to know by what production costs potentially are going to be. I think it's going to be lower end, but we'll see how that is. Then we have Megan 2.0. I think we all can agree this is going to do well. First film did really well, really took off, and I don't expect this to have too much of a big production cost with it. It's Blumhouse. They usually are very well when it comes to managing production costs. So I think it's going to do very well. Similar to Lilo and Stitch, I think this one's going to take off as well. Another big success story for the summer. So yeah, and I think that they know it too because they're positioning it right in the heart of the summer season. So yeah, so I think that they have definitely another winner on their hands. Blumhouse, I mean. So. Next one up, Jurassic World Rebirth. This series has always been a popular one. Kind of similar to the Transformers series. It's always been $1 billion franchise. Uh, I don't see a lot of slowing down. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's a brand new cast, so maybe that might turn off some people. But I think this is going to end up doing good. I think it'll end up doing pretty well. I don't know if it'll be another $1 billion thing, but I definitely can see this doing well, given just how the previous films have done, and just the general uh, interest for these movies. Stemming from just basically that of dinosaurs and the CG spectacles. I think that this is probably going to end up doing fine, given just how these films just generally just perform. So. Then we get into August. Two films I feel will do well. One film called Together. I again a small budgeted thing. This is from Neon. Neon's had a good year so far. They had the Monkey that came out this year, as well as something else. I forgot what it was, but Presence. Presence. Yeah, that was the other film they had as well. Um, Both very low budgeted, and both didn't have to do too much to turn a profit. So I think this is going to be another case of very small budget, and it doesn't have need to do too much to make a return on investment. So and similar rationale for Nobody Two. The first one was pretty cheap, surprisingly. It was pretty cheap. I actually was going to put this as a no, but then I looked at it and saw that the first one was like 20 million. Like it was like super cheap. The original. Um, so I doubt that the sequel is going to be pushed higher. We'll see, obviously, but as it stands, given just where it was, how the original was financially, and the prospects for what this could be financially, I could definitely see this doing well as well, just because of just similar rationales for a lot of these films here, where I think it just doesn't need to do too much to turn a profit. So really, there's like two films here. I mean, I guess if you count Megan, because Megan is not, a massive tentpole type. I mean, it's a tentpole, but it's not like financially, it's not a big investment. Really, there's only like two films here that are like guaranteed to be at least $100 million plus investments. Lilo and Stitch and Jurassic World. I feel like those two films are going to be the ones that really, 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 bring it home financially and stack up to be the biggest in terms of profits that are made. But a lot of these other ones, it's because of just the prospects financially, what they're putting into their productions. That's what I think the summer is going to benefit more is in the vein of horror. I mean, a lot of this stuff is horror. 4 out of the 7 are horror. So that's my thought. I mean, I like I said before, I think horror is just taking precedence slowly, piece by piece. Um, but yeah, I definitely think that between these two films, these are the films that are going to lift up the summer in terms of profit, and these other film series are going to do well on their own the because of just what they're putting into their productions, how much they've cost, and the lower ends make for less of a risk financially speaking. So all right, so that's 7 films that I feel are going to do well. Now let's talk about the other side of that equation, the ones that I feel are not going to do well. And there's a few. So let's start off with Thunderbolts. I really don't see this doing too well. Um, the early projections have it pretty low, um, like 70 million or so, and I'm pretty sure we're looking at another like 100+ million type deal. Um, yeah, I just don't see this doing too well. I don't think there's a Chinese release. I think there was, but it's kind of up in the air right now if there is one. Um, so yeah, I don't see this doing too well. I just don't think there's really a whole lot of bite for this. I just don't see it. I think a lot of people just see this as like a Suicide Squad ripoff, so they're not really, and also they're characters that people don't really know about or care about. So yeah, so yeah, I don't see a whole lot coming out from that, personally speaking. Guaranteed as an absolute no is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Remember, um, this is all marketing bullshit. This is not the final film. Okay, remember we talked about this a long, long time ago, where they are trying to find a way to make the marketing for this film stronger, and thus trying to get people to bless me to come see this movie because the production cost, as far as I've read, are $400 million. $400 million. So this has to be a $1 billion film. And seeing as how the last film, which was Dead Reckoning, um, seeing as that how that did, and also how they had to pull out some kind of tax return or whatever to justify the cost of that film. Um, I don't think this is going to be it. I don't think so. I think that this might be the last Mission Impossible for other reasons, but uh, I don't think this is the last one by design. They're doing this purely for marketing speak, and I seriously doubt that it's going to benefit them. This is opening the same weekend, mind you, as Lilo and Stitch. And I think between the two, I think Lilo and Stitch is going to dominate because I think there still is a bite for Mission Impossible, but I think that bite is not going to be as big compared to Lilo and Stitch. So. So yeah, so I don't see this doing well at all. I think this is going to be a major loss for them because man, the cost have just gotten so out of hand for that film. So there you have that. Karate Kid Legends. I honestly think that should have gone to streaming. I think that you should have just dumped this on Netflix. I think Karate Kid as a franchise at this point is basically television. Um, like Karate Kid has always been just a lesser Rocky, and it's always tried to position itself in that vein. But Karate Kid has never been on the same pedestal or the same league as Rocky. So I don't think that financially it's going to really uh, prove much of anything. So I think that it's better suited just to be on Netflix, just because you have the Cobra Kai show and other things like that. So I feel like it's more suitable in that vein because I just don't see who's going to seek this out. I really don't. So, the Phoenician scheme. Oh God, I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry, but we're going to talk about the trailer in the next news roundup, so stay tuned for that. But in terms of financial pull, I just don't see a whole lot. Wes Anderson has never been like a massive draw as a name. Um, he's done some films here and there that have proved otherwise, like Grand Budapest Hotel, which I think was financially his biggest pull as a director. But Asteroid City, I don't think was a big success story for him. And given that this is also coming out the same weekend as Karate Kid, I would think that there would be more attention on Karate Kid given just name recognition. And I feel like something like this is just going to get kind of buried and kind of silenced out. So yeah, so I don't see a whole lot coming up from that Wes Anderson film. I really don't. So, equal reasoning for the Footage scheme, which the hell out of that name. I say the same for Ballerina, where I just don't think there is a lot of care for that film. I really don't. I think that a lot of people are just gonna skip out on it because of purely the fact that it's not Keanu Reeves. And they're putting Keanu Reeves in now. I think that was because of reshoots, right? Or I don't know if he was always intended to be in the film, um, but we know that there has been some overhauls, some reshoots, some big reshoots, uh, due to poor test screenings. Literally, the actor Ian McShane, he admitted to that, on an interview. He's like, "Yeah, we need to rework this. It's not super great right now." So it's got some issues. So costs are probably also a little bit higher than what they should be. Um, but again, I just don't see a lot of bite. I just don't think there's a lot of general interest for that film, and I think people are just kind of just going to skip out on it. So, and Ana de Armas is just not that notable of a name. I mean, she really isn't. She's done a few films here and there, but no one really knows her that well. So, so yeah. F1, I say is going to be another big flop because of just what the costs are amounting to. I've heard potentially this is like a $200 million thing. Um, and if that's true, given what the genre is, a sports type film, no. Those types of films never ever like reach to the heights of what something like this needs to perform. Like if it's a $200 million thing, you're asking 800 to $900 million for profit. I seriously doubt it. It's not a Top Gun. I get it's the same director, and I get they're trying to bill it in a similar fashion, but I don't think that anyone's going to care. I don't think so. The only reason why Top Gun Maverick made as much money as it did is because of the fact of it being what it was. Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun. Notable film from the '90s, or at least a popular film from the '90s. This is a fresh, original idea. I just don't think it's going to have that same appeal. I really don't. So, and financially speaking, I don't know if there's more money on the table compared to Top Gun, but that money is going towards something more fresh. And with a price tag that potentially that high, I just don't think that's going to work in the film's favor. So, uh, Smurfs. I think people are just done with Smurfs. I feel like people are done with Smurfs. I think people just don't care anymore. I think the studio just doesn't really care either because I honestly think that this movie was made because of Rihanna. I think she wanted some film, some vehicle for her music, and she got what she wanted with bringing back the Smurfs. But I don't think anyone cares. I think that the filmmakers also don't really care either because if you see what the other films were, going from the going from one world to the live action world, which is what this is doing. People did not like those movies, so I don't understand why they think to do it again is a good idea. It just shows me that they just really don't care, and I honestly don't think that a lot of audiences are going to care either. Um, So, especially in that specific month, I mean, we have like Jurassic World, we have other films, Superman, other things here and there. Um, I just don't think Smurfs is going to have that much. The only thing that could work with it is its cost. Because based on the trailer, I think the costs are low. I don't think that they're extremely high. I mean, there's a notable cast attached to it, so it might be floating in the vein of like 50 so million. Um, but I just don't see a lot coming out of it. And given how Smurfs has performed in the box office and the fact that it's literally been shipped off to one studio to the other, I just, I don't know. I just don't see a whole lot for that film, to be honest with you. So, also in July, which I also don't think is going to do well for similar reasons as Smurfs, Fantastic Four. I just don't think people are that interested in Fantastic Four anymore. I just don't think so. I hope you guys can see this, by the way. Let me just move this out of the way. There we go. Um, yeah, I just don't think people are that interested in Fantastic Four. I think people are kind of over it at this point. We've had literally 3 or 4 Fantastic Four films that have not gone off well, and um, I don't think that Marvel Studios is going to really change that, change the interest. So the fan base may be excited, but the fan base does not encapsulate the entire audience. That's a microcosm of the entire audience, and generally, with audiences, I think they're just going to look at the name Fantastic Four and go, I no, you know. So yeah, I don't see a whole lot coming out of Fantastic Four. I just don't think it's that. I honestly think you should have put this near like the fall season. And neck deep in the summer, I just no. I honestly think Thunderbolts would probably have better odds as a major summer release than Fantastic Four, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. At least by appeal, if you're asking me. So, the Naked Gun. I just think people are not going to care. That's my guess. I know it's a notable comedy. I know what was his name, Steve something, Martin Short. What's his name? I think it's Steve something. Steve Martin. I think that's his name. Yeah, I know he, or was it Steve Martin? God, I forgot. I forgot who starred in the original, but I know it's a notable comedy, but I don't think that it's going to hold much water here domestically, really anywhere, really. So I just don't think it's going to have much appeal. And then Freakier Friday, I honestly, similar to Karate Kid, I don't understand why that's not going to just Disney Plus. Just make that an exclusive on streaming because it's not going to have the same effect in a theater. I think that it's way more suited to be online than on a theatrical medium because I just don't think it's going to have that kind of audience. I really don't. So. But yeah, those are what I think are not going to do too well. I think a lot of major temples are not going to be pulling in as much, if you ask me. But I do have some oddballs, some films that I'm kind of 50-50 on. So here's what I think. So here's some oddballs. So I have 4 that I'm kind of, I don't know how to feel about. So we have How to Train Your Dragon, which is coming out June 13th. I I don't know. I could see this going either way. The studio appears confident with it because they've already greenlit a sequel, or at least they are now interested in doing a sequel. I I don't know. I don't know. I know this series is well known enough, but I don't think it's ever been a massively popular series with audience. Um, and I don't know if a live action version is going to sway many people. I know there's already been some reception to it, but that's filtered out through CinemaCon and audience, specific audience. General audience has not gotten a look at the film yet, so we'll see. We'll see. I, I don't know. I could see it going either way, but I don't know. Same thing with Elio. I don't know if people are gonna have as much of an appetite. I don't know specifically with Pixar. How people are gravitating to Pixar films nowadays. It seems like it's going more towards notable IPs. Like I'm pretty sure something like Zootopia 2 that's coming out this year. I'm pretty sure that's going to do way more compared to this. Um, but I think that stems from production, just how much the film, as an investment is. That may or may not, present a present the financial odds for it. You know, so we'll see. I mean, remember Elemental didn't do too well. Disney will claim it did well, but it didn't. So we'll see how a film like Elio shapes up. Superman is definitely a critical point for Warner Brothers right now. They definitely need this film to do well. I honestly don't see it doing too well. Like that's just my gut feeling, especially because of what other offerings are in July. Like I said, Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, Smurfs. I just I think Smurfs of the four is probably not going to do as well. But of the three major hitters, because let's be honest, I don't think Smurfs is like a major hitter compared to the other three. Uh, I think Jurassic World's going to end up rocking the July month. Fantastic Four may prove to do a little bit better, but I just I don't know. I really don't know. It really depends on reception for the film that I think is going to be a swaying factor for a lot of people. But the company definitely needs this to be a win. They definitely need this to be a win. If the current leadership wants to stay in power, they need a film like this to do as well as like Minecraft is doing right now. Um, but and also it's a brand new start for them. A reboot of the whole series, but for the DC medium. So they need this film to do really well. So we'll see. We'll see. I have my doubts, but we'll see how it shapes up. And then the bad guys too. I don't know about this one. I don't know. I know the first one did moderately well, like it did fine. I think this stems more from production. How much investment it was to create the sequel. I know it comes out in August, so it's kind of a soft month, so not a whole lot of notable films. This one probably being the most notable coming out that month. So we'll see. We'll see. I could see it doing fine depending on how much it costs to make, um, but we'll see how that goes. So. So yeah, so those are my predictions. It doesn't seem to be a strong summer season. It might honestly not be. It might be even less compared to last year because I remember last year had a little bit of a stronger pull, like Deadpool, Wolverine, Inside Out 2. So I think a lot of these success stories are going to be dependent on investments. I think that's why you're going to see a lot more films on the smaller end turn profits, and a lot of films with larger larger ends not do too well. And there's many factors to it: fatigue, politically, just with what's going on with China. So there are things that are working against this summer, um, and there's a lot of variety out there. A lot of stuff there, that is that could give the appetite to audiences. But I think audiences right now are just becoming they're very selective of what they will or will not invest into, and I think that that's going to be seen in the box office this summer. So I think that the major hitter is going to be Jurassic World. That's my guess. I think Jurassic World is going to be the major hitter for the summer. Lilo and Stitch, I think, is also going to do pretty well. Um, but the rest of these major temples, I think, are going to. I think they're definitely going to uh, have their own kinds of struggles because of just what kinds of investments they are. So, so we'll see how it unfolds. But I see more success on the smaller end than I do with bigger ends. So, so those are my predictions. You guys let me know your predictions in the comment section below. What films are you excited to see this summer? Which films are perhaps you're not interested in seeing? And what do you think is going to be the biggest financial success story? And what do you think is going to be the biggest bomb potentially? I think it's Mission Impossible, um, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.